Hello and welcome to the Jill Lublin Show. I am so glad you're here with me. And today you'll be glad you're here too, because I have a very special human being, Mark LeBlanc. I have been privileged to work with Mark for, I think close to 15 years now, right around there. And I just know who he is as a human being, as a business consultant, and the power of who Mark is. And I want to share with you just a little bit even more. He's a nationally renowned speaker. Mark LeBlanc is a legendary business coach and author of 4 business books. He's conducted over 150 weekends known as the Achievers Circle. They're business retreats. And if you like what you hear in this interview, watch a full 45-minute interview with Mark on his site, markleblanc.com. Welcome, Mark.
Hey, thank you, Jill. Good to be with you.
It's always great to be with you. And I know you've had this long and wonderful history. Would you share a little bit about where you were and how you've come to be who you are today?
Well, thank you for asking. When I look back in my rearview mirror, I've been on my own virtually my entire adult life. I had a job once for about 6 months, and I found out at a very early age that I was unemployable. In fact, at 21, I was inspired by the 2 words, "You're fired." And I made a vow at 21 that I would do whatever it would take to make it on my own. And I have. In fact, this year I'm going to celebrate my 38th year of being in business for myself. Hasn't always been easy. I've had some good years. I've had some bad years. I've had some great years. And I've had a few years that I would just as soon, let's just call them an ugly year or 2. But through it all, I wouldn't change it for anything.
I know you have been in business a long time and you've had ideas, well, that didn't land and maybe even flopped. And then you've had some ideas that, well, worked better than you thought they even would. Can you share a little bit about both?
I sure can. I think so many of us have a hunch or an intuitive idea that we wonder if it would work. And my encouragement to people is always trust it, try it, and then step back and tinker with it a little bit. In fact, I learned about this approach or this philosophy from Susan Trivers, a business consultant who wrote a great book titled Tinker. And the essence is trust it, try it, tinker with it. And, probably the biggest thing that I really wondered about was starting a weekend retreat that I called the Achiever Circle. And I really created it in a very unique way. And that was people would pay a small deposit, and then at the end of the retreat, write a check for whatever they felt the value of the weekend was. And it was so out of the box at the time because so many people were charging $10,000, $5,000 and $10,000 for a boot camp weekend type experience. And I learned from the legendary Joel Weldon, when everybody is moving one way, go in the opposite way. And so I began to play with something called the anti-boot camp. And that's how I created the Achiever Circle. And I plunked 3 weekends down on the calendar, and to date, I've done now 151 business retreats. It has turned out to be the absolute best business decision of my career.
Well, I must say, because I've been through your wonderful Achievers Circles, and they are really phenomenal. And everybody in business needs to do that with Mark LeBlanc. And I will tell you, one of the things I just think is so spectacular is how humane your business hours are. Like, just as an example, because viewers don't know, but, we go from 9 to 12. Then he gives you a 3-hour lunch break. Like, wow, you could actually, in, the case where I was of La Jolla, we could go to the beach. We could relax.
Well, my joke is that no one in their right mind should ever spend more than 3 hours with me at one time. And so I really built this as a retreat-like experience. And that's part of the anti-boot camp model, that there was incredible breathing space to, take in the information, digest it, and crack the code or unlock a combination. Because for each person, it's a different combination or a different path forward.
Yeah, I think it's a phenomenal, and it's brilliant, and it teaches that you can do business humanely and with rest and with rejuvenation and reinvigoration is what I've always found, and then come newly again. And I just want to thank you. I think you know that you've been the inspiration for my publicity course, because I loved how you brought people together in a small and intimate way and really serve them, because that's who you are and that's what you do. So thank you for being the inspiration for my publicity course, which, as you know, has been my, what we would call a signature sale for a long time.
That's right. That's right.
And I love that. So a question for you, because you've been in business, gosh, like you said, for over 30 years, over 35 years. And my question is, having started when you were 21, and you were young, right? And I know you were in different kinds of businesses. And looking back now, what would you say to your 21-year-old self?
I would say, look, find a guide. There's a great documentary on YouTube. You can watch it for free. It's called The 5 Keys to Mastery. Just search it on YouTube. It's about an hour in length, and it is just one of the best documentaries that I've ever seen. And they interview people from all walks of life, from sports, the Olympics, theater, acting, music, and they interview these people, and there's just an enormous treasure chest of experience and expertise. But one of the 5 keys is get a guide. Find a Sherpa, take someone with you. One of my favorite African proverbs is, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, take someone with you. And I think at 21, obviously I was young, but I think in my early to mid to even late 20s, I thought that I was supposed to figure it out all by myself. That maybe if I went to a seminar or two, that I was independent enough, or that I was supposed to be smart enough to figure it out by myself. And I shudder to think where I might be today had I learned early on to raise my hand, reach out for help, get out of my own way. I mean, I certainly did not know everything, but I felt like I was supposed to project that image of already knowing everything. And it is not a sign of failure to reach out for help. So whether it's for fee in terms of a business coach, a life coach, a leadership coach, an executive coach, or a no fee, if it's a mentor or an accountability partner, but find somebody outside, obviously, of yourself that can become a part of your inner circle, and a confidant, and someone that you can meet with on a somewhat regular basis, whether it's once a year, once a quarter, once a month, twice a month, whatever combination works for you, but find someone to take with you.
Well, you have been that someone for me. I'm just saying that you have been the guide for me, the person who's helped keep me on my path, has opened up new possibilities and ways to look importantly at the important aspects of running a business, like creating revenue. And I just always am so grateful for the impact you've made in my life, my business, and I will always be grateful for who you are in my life. So thank you, Mark.
Oh, you're very welcome.
And I just want to say to all of those watching that this is a man that you want to connect with. And Mark, how would they connect with you?
Well, the best way is probably to just go to markleblanc.com. And if it's easier, send me an email, Mark, M-A-R-K, at growingyourbusiness.com.
Perfect. Thank you. Is there any, shall we say, last important message you want to leave our viewers with?
Focus is not everything. Extreme focus today is everything. And the decisions you make and the steps that you take each and every day will ultimately take you where you want to go, or they won't. Hedge your bets wisely.
Well, thank you. And I love that, because I know you've always, really taught around some very specific practices, right? And keeping one step in front of the other. And I love that you always speak about resetting your counters to zero so that we don't make ourselves wrong and that we keep going. And I just think that's amazing advice.
Oh, thank you.
Well, thank you, Mark, for being on today and for blessing our viewers and listeners. And I thank you for that. And I want to thank all of you for watching and listening today. I'm Jill Lublin, and you can find out more at jilllublin.com. I invite you to kindness circles and virtual publicity course and all kinds of offerings that I've got for you. And I just want to leave you with practice a conscious act of kindness every single day. Thank you for watching.